I'm Laura Baker, part of the Wyoming CAN Committee and board president for the Cyber Wyoming Alliance. Today, for the Cyber in a Box library program, we're going to talk about security decisions we all make every day that could put us at risk. This is the second video in a three-part series about the new field of cyberpsychology. Cyberpsychology can be defined as the human traits that everyone has that put us at risk for being scammed online. If you haven't seen the first video, the biggest takeaway is to give yourself permission to slow down and really think when you're reading your emails. These Cyber in a Box videos are brought to you by the Wyoming CAN Committee and the Wyoming State Library, among these other community-minded organizations. Before we get to the decisions that you and I make every day, let's talk about the Hacker Psychological Playbook. This is how the hackers get you to react without thinking. The Hacker Psychological Playbook research is from Dr. Eric Huffman, a cyberpsychologist and cybersecurity researcher. The first item in the playbook is reciprocity. There's a study that Dr. Eric Huffman's friend did. He randomly sent 500 Christmas cards out to people he didn't know. And you know what? He got almost all 500 Christmas cards back for years from complete strangers. Now think about reciprocity in a car wrap scam. If you buy this magnet to put on your car door to advertise us, then we'll pay you $300 a month. Commitment and consistency is the second one. Dr. Huffman fished over 35 organizations across the nation with their permission and was able to get everyone he fished to click within 32 days. So hackers know that persistence pays off. Social proof. The hackers research you and they concoct a story or half story that you might believe. For instance, one of the scams is a funeral scam. They find out on social media that someone died, then look up the obituary and contact a member of the grieving family. I've heard of a scam where a grandparent was called by the, quote, police, saying that her grandson had been in an accident on the way back from the funeral. Because of the obituary, the hackers knew where the funeral was and where the grandson was from. Liking. They try to make you like them, at least at first. Because if you like the hackers, then you're more likely to trust them. In our last video, we talked about how they use trusted brands like Nike to get you to like them. They steal the logo and make the email look like it came from Nike. And because you already like Nike, then you have a greater chance of liking the hacker. Authority. Hackers try to sound official because people respond to that. This was also in the first video as authority bias, and we discussed it there. But Dr. Huffman also found this to be a huge part of the hacker's playbook. Scarcity. Often hackers try to find something you need or want, and unfortunately, we help them by posting on social media. For instance, if you post that you just lost your job, then you may be targeted with a secret shopper scam. So how do we combat this psychological playbook from the hackers? We use our day-to-day decisions as tools to combat it. We need to be aware of our choices each day to reduce our chances of being scammed. According to the Global Employee Risks Insight Report, human risk has remained at the top breach source for the past 5 years and currently accounts for 5 out of 7 data breaches. Now, how does this translate into our own personal risk? The same decision-making process that we make at work every day could also put us at risk with our personal accounts. So let's talk about those personal risks. First, choose to get organized at home. Let's talk about your home network setup. Lots of people think that the equipment is secure right out of the box, but it's not. Or if they lease the equipment from their internet service provider, they believe that the default passwords have been changed, but that isn't always the case. If you bought your equipment, it's worth it to make sure that both the passwords have been changed, the administrator's password and the Wi-Fi password. If you lease your equipment, call your internet service provider and make sure they really did change the administrator's password when they installed your router. The installers are human too, and sometimes they make mistakes. Next, choose to make sure all of your computers and laptops have antivirus software installed on them. If you don't know what to use, we recommend checking out PCMag.com. They're a great consumer resource. Also, both Windows PCs and Macs come with software on them that act as a firewall. Make sure it's turned off. There are plenty of resources out there if you don't know how, including some listed at the end of this video. Choose to make sure your computers, phones, and tablets are set to auto update. If you share a computer with your kids, give them a different user ID. This is practical because then they don't know your password and they can't mess up your accounts. Finally, make sure that you back up your important documents and pictures. Other Library in a Box videos talk about practical ways to back up your home computer. You know those annoying texts that you get with codes so you can get into your account? Choose to use them wherever you can, but especially on any accounts that have your financial information, like your bank accounts and any accounts that have your credit card numbers stored. While they aren't perfect and hackers can get around them sometimes, overwhelmingly they work. I've heard of Wyoming businesses avoiding being hacked just because of two-factor authentication. Now let's move to everyday choices we can make to be secure. First, passwords. Choose to use a unique password on every different website. If you can't keep up with them, check out password management software. Also, treat your password reset questions like the valuable information that they are, but lie. Your mother's maiden name is probably well known by now, and so is where you were born and where you went to high school. If you lie, then hackers that research you cannot get the information. For more information about passwords, check out other Wyoming Can videos on the library website. Choose to discuss cyber safety topics at your dinner table once a week. Ask your kids what they've seen as scams when gaming or on the apps that they use. Give your kids the tools to be safe online. Give yourself permission to slow down when reading and responding to your emails. If you get an email that you weren't expecting and your spidey sense goes off, call the person it was supposedly from or just delete it. If it's real, your friend or family member will probably call you. Choose not to use public Wi-Fi at coffee shops and hotels. While it's convenient and free, it's easy for hackers to eavesdrop on your keystrokes and steal your user IDs and passwords. Instead, use your hotspot. Choose to disable Wi-Fi when not on a secure, known network. So choose to act on what you know and make a few key changes in your life to be on a safer online path. Remember that your data is your data. Keep it safe from the hackers, whether it's your banking information or just your name and phone number. For tips when you choose to act, visit these resources. Many are from previous Cyber in a Box library website series. And don't forget to check out the other videos in Wyoming's Cyber in a Box library program. Thank you for your time.